that's my first part. I'll upload that and then I'll upload this one. But anyways, I got so many smiley faces and hugs and happiness and everything. I don't know why my phone cut that off and it was only 4 minutes long. But here's the second part. But I'm sorry anyways. But I got so many smiley faces and stuff in the beginning of the year, but then it started getting bad at about before mom found out in the email. So I couldn't show her those. I was like, man, she's gonna get so mad at me. So I was like, frick it, I'm gonna show her the other ones. So I played her and I showed her some of the older ones. And it wasn't until later on in the game that I figured, hey, why not I do this? Because she kept signing them and I kept showing Miss Franklin, and Miss Franklin wasn't buying it. And I knew she was going to hit up my mom and be like, yo, you're not signing the right sheets of papers. So I was like, why not? I do it for the right thing. So 1 or 2 weeks straight, I got smiley faces. And then I used those repetitively. Like, okay, so my folder, I would turn it sideways at night and I would stick out, like, say if it was on Monday, I'd put the paper to where the Monday faces was, and if I got a green face, I would show it. But I'd take out another sheet of paper that she probably already signed, and I'd make it seem like she didn't sign it by using the whiteout or whatever I could to white over that, and she wouldn't see it because I'd hide it a little bit on my folder. So she'd sign, like, right over that, and she wouldn't even know. And I would slick, like, pull out the part that I manipulated what I wanted her to sign and where I wanted her to sign it at. Like, I tricked her that much. Like, hold on, let me get this folder. Like, see this? See this folder right here? Ignore all the stuff coming out. Like, say this is the sheet. This is the sheet. And this is the folder. I would put it, hold on. I would put it in, and about that much it would be sticking out. And say Monday, and my smiley face is right there, and that much, it would be right above the signature she already signed, would be signed. And I would just play her. I would keep on doing that. I would pull it out to a certain inch, and I would keep on doing it. And it came to a point where I had to use the same 2 sheets of paper, and I had to find my way around it. So if she already signed this top part and I had to pull it up a little bit more for her to sign that bottom part, I have to fold that top part so she doesn't think or think anything suspicious, like, hey, I already signed this like twice before and I just signed this yesterday. And so I'd have to fold it over and she have to sign right there. But anyways, I got caught eventually, but that story is like another part. So I'll get to that, but it's still a part of the story, but I'll get to that later. But I kept on doing it. I was the G, I was good, and I felt so excited. I was like, I can do whatever I want and still make my mom think I'm doing good. And I was doing really bad in addition. To this day, I'm not very good at addition. Don't laugh. Like, I'm not really good at multiplication and addition, and I get frustrated whenever I have to deal with that type of stuff because kindergarten, basically. But I used to throw fits, and I was like, I don't want to do this math. I don't have to do no addition. I don't have to add my 2 plus tables. I don't have to do none of this because my mom doesn't care. And Miss Franklin knew better. Miss Franklin knew the time she had emailed my mom, and my mom emailed her back like 2 seconds later. I'm dead serious. My mom read that email straight up. She called me into her room. She was like, what is this about? And I had to come up with a fake explanation. She was like, oh, okay. And she responded immediately. And Miss Franklin knew that was nothing. I told one of the kids one time, she was writing down names, or not her, but she told one of the kids to write down names. I was like, I don't care. Miss Franklin came running in the room. She told the kid to write names because she was going to be down the hall doing copies. And that kid wrote my name down on the board for talking. And I was like, I don't care. My mom don't care either. She was like, I'm glad because I'm going to send her an email right now and see if she really doesn't care. So I knew, dang, she gonna get me. So as soon as I got home, I checked on her computer. I didn't know her password, so I asked her for a password, pretended I was getting on some website called First in Math, and immediately I got on that computer. I went on her emails. It took me a long time to figure out how to get around, but I found her email. I deleted it. I erased it. I completely got it out, except for the trash bin, and that came later on, because later on in the week I called Miss Franklin fat. I called Miss Franklin fat. And she was thick around the edges, but she wasn't fat, She wasn't boing like a bouncy ball, but she was a little thick, but I called her fat because she was saying, I'm going to call your father. And I think at the time my mom and my father weren't together currently. Was that it? Yeah, my mom and dad weren't together, and they would get back together later on. But that's another part. That's the bad part. So it's really almost to the bad part. What happened was Miss Franklin sneak texted my mom, emailed my mom. She got on the computer this one day. She read it. Weeks later, my mom and dad got back together, and they've never been married. My mom and dad got back together. They're living in the same house now, not in this one, but a different house. That was before I moved. But They living in the same house together. They're all good. The mom goes through her emails. She goes to her trash. She looks at the email that was been sent. My mother's like, oh, okay. But she doesn't talk to me about it. So she looks more deeper into it. And she has an hour long, like I'm looking back at it now and it was an hour long about a conversation on the phone with this lady. She hangs up. I come home from school and I'm wearing this hope shirt. It's a nice, cool peace sign shirt and it's got hope on the top. My mom says, you better be hoping you're not finna get a spanking. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She was like, read your shirt. I was like, I know what it says. She was like, okay, so you better be hoping you're not getting a spanking. I was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, I'm talking about all these papers. And I guess I had left my folder at home that day, and she looked through it. And because she had been talking to Miss Franklin, she knew everything now. She knew everything.